Hey everyone, August 8th, 2026 tonight, and it hadn't been that long, you know, little over a week since I posted the last video, but today is MECFS Severe MECFS Awareness Day, and my feed has kind of been overwhelmed with all the people out there like myself and how debilitating this is. At the same time, I've had a lot of the back to school posts, stuff the truck, etc., for backpacks and school supplies, etc. I have been doing real well. This summer really did a number on me, as I've said in other videos. And even though I've been making a little bit of headroom on certain recipes, got to hang out with my older brother and my mom the other day for a couple hours, and just with everything going on, it's really hard to explain to most people what it's like. If I had cancer or ALS or some other typical uh, degenerative condition like MD or MS or Parkinson's or whatever, it would be a lot easier, I think, in most cases. But MECFS is still a new um, I don't know how to put it. It's not in the vocabulary. If I said measles or mumps or tuberculosis or something along those lines, and even now at this point, that the celiac disease, for example, or gluten intolerance is actually out there. It's been researched enough that it is a severe condition. It still doesn't get the respect or understanding. Diabetes, that one blows me away, because that one is, again, like celiacs, it's completely, for the most part, food and dietary issues. But still, to this day, we don't just have a um, any kind of advertisement that just flat out says, "Look, just don't eat this stuff. This stuff is bad." So I wanted to get on tonight and talk about the fact that I went back through the, I guess you could call it the Pure Food Act here in Nebraska. I was just trying to focus on what I can do legally, what other people in Nebraska could do. And I was trying to figure out, what I had talked to other county health inspectors over the years, talked to the legal departments for the cottage food departments, which so much to read through, so much to figure out, trying to find the actual limits that someone can work around things. And I will give credit to, the I think it's the Nebraska Department of Agriculture that runs the cottage food aspect in Nebraska, and working with them 2 years ago, I brought up all of the, because it used to be that you could not use any meat product, period. So no gelatin, because gelatin, you can get beef gelatin, you can get pork gelatin. If you go buy a box of gelatin, legally, in most cases, Jello brand is pork. Okay, that's a meat byproduct, which was not allowed under cottage foods. And what I was really trying to do was figure out all of these vague legal terms. What's safe, what's not? Can I use beef gelatin in a recipe? Can I use a commercially purchased pork lard or beef tallow to make freezer fries? Okay. What about, and it's so hard because I don't know how to say this, but it just seems like we have these things that are just considered safe. But I've seen all of these mass-produced items that, right now, the cyclosporia or whatever you want to call it, the parasite with lettuce and other vegetables, that we can't track it. We can't figure out where this is coming from. And that's one of the things with my idea with grain-free meat is local. There are the regulations that I have built into the system that you wouldn't be bringing in something like lettuce or tomatoes from some other country. Not an option. And in all the years that I've been doing this so far, there hasn't been a recall for the ingredients that I include in my dry mixes or that I recommend for my recipes. So I reached back out to the Nebraska Department of Agriculture. I reached back out to the health department that oversees where I live in Nebraska here. And I'm trying to, what did I spend the other night? 6-8 hours going through the limitations of what being a disabled person like myself and wanting to figure out ways to, because right now, let's put it this way, it is illegal for somebody to cook for me in their own home. Totally legal as a private chef. They can come over to my house, they can cook in my house. Same person doing the same job. But legally speaking, they can't do that. And the other crazy aspect is too, like with my mom being, she's 80 years old, and I can't legally buy a big pack of chicken or hamburger, freeze it, vacuum seal it, and portion it for her. That makes me a meat packer. It's my mom. Vice versa. She couldn't do that for me if she was able. If she was physically able, she couldn't do that for me. We can do it for free, but if my mom wants to pay me back for the chicken and the 10-cent per bag vacuum seal bags, nope, that's illegal. I'm now considered a meat packer. I understand it. I get it. I am more, how to say this, I am more in tune with safety regulations, being I've worked in the food business for a lot of years in my life. But especially now with the allergens and cross-contamination aspects. I have a kitchen that's been grain-free, gluten-free, pet-free for 4.5, 5 years now. Okay? If I go over to somebody else's house as a private chef, there's no safety standards there. If they have pets, if they have kids, if they have visitors, yeah. If I rent a commercial kitchen, if that was possible in Fremont, I can go into that commercial kitchen that is going to be filled with gluten and grain ingredients. 100 people touching all of the countertops, etc. All of the equipment, the mixers, the blenders, everything, the ovens, everything is going to, because those don't get cleaned to the point that it would be safe for cross-contamination. Plus, what chemicals are they using to clean all this stuff? It's so frustrating for me. And I get it. The legislation was written for mass producers, anybody that would be selling to the public, food trucks, commercial kitchens, restaurants, wholesale producers, all that stuff. I get it. But here's the crappy part. There is no wiggle room right now, the way that things are written. Same with cottage food. Cottage food is written for producers that sell to the public. None of it is written for one-on-one personal agreements. Okay? Legally, I don't know, and that's kind of where I've put it on the website, that legally, I don't think there's really a lot that anyone could say. But I'm reading back through it here the last couple days. I'm going to do everything that I can to reevaluate it all, lobby, try to find people in the departments to work with at this point, because I don't want people to have to be scared to death about helping family, friends, and neighbors. You know, let's think about this one for a second. Okay, so here in Nebraska, legally, I could cook and sell whatever I wanted to 10 people per day, whether I had a bread and bed and breakfast, or a hunting lodge. Under 10 people, 10 people or less. I could cook and sell whatever I wanted. Those same 10 people couldn't come over and pick up a takeaway or a frozen meal. They have to eat the majority of it in my house. I get that. I really do. I really understand the way most of the legislation is written and the regulations are written. But what I'm looking at doing is so totally different. I'm not looking at putting a sign in my front yard. I'm not looking at serving 100 people a day. I'm looking at helping disabled and elderly and physically limited people. That's it. I'm physically limited myself. I can't cook 100 meals a day. So that's where I want to see the regulations change. In reality, legally, could you get away with it doing it on your own? Probably. Who's going to complain? If you're only working with 10 families in your neighborhood, local area, because that's what I say in my every single one of my webpage for the guild and the community and business license, this is a one-on-one transaction. This is not letting people off the street come in. Here's where it kind of got tricky today. I was thinking about, you know, with it being severe MECFS Awareness Day, and then having the constant, you know, stuff the truck with school supplies and things like that. Talking to my brother, and he was asking, he's like, why don't you just make a cookbook? Well, I looked into that. It was so expensive to do. And the other aspect of that too is the marketing. You know, how much money was I going to have to put out to share these recipes with selling a cookbook? It's not fiscally responsible. And for some reason, all of that kind of came into play today, thinking, because I've been pricing out a couple of mini freezers, upright freezers, that I could load up with chaffles and chookies and tortillas and everything, pizza crusts, for myself, my mom, my neighbors, and other people in the community that needed it. I got to thinking about what it was like when I was in junior high, because we had been, you know, my mom, my brother, and I had been talking about how sick I'd always been. And yes, I am a pretty severe case of reactions. The thing is, I've always been trying to create recipes that would be good enough that even healthy people would decide to go with. You know, it's, if you're a parent and you find out that your kid has celiacs, that's a really hard thing for families to work through. And that's on my webpage under the medical library, how to deal with this stuff. My mom likes to talk a lot about Atkins when she was younger, of how, you know, Atkins worked. My system is completely different than that kind of thing. Yes, I could do just straight up carnivore. Um, I can't do straight up keto recipes because there's a lot of keto recipes that still use a lot of the grain substitutions that are not safe for people like me. It just hit me today, though, when I was in seventh grade, eighth grade, when I, you know, switched from grade school to junior high. My parents really tried their best with what we knew back then. You know, that was 1987. There was no, I mean, celiac, grain sensitive, fructose intolerance, none of that was in existence back then. You know, they told me I had bipolar disorder. That's what was causing my issues. But the weird thing was, for some reason, like McDonald's double cheeseburgers at that time, I don't know why. Those didn't trigger me. There were some mini frozen pizzas that I could get that didn't trigger me. So my dad would buy me McDonald's double cheeseburgers and fries. We would freeze those, and I would take them to school in a lunchbox, and that's what I would eat for lunch. Or the frozen pizza. We would cook them, freeze them. I would, you know, by the time lunch got around, they were thawed out, and I would eat those. And it really hit me today that why am I not trying to do that for other kids? We've got the bread and bun chaffles, doing them in the flat top style now, working on the pizza crust, that just all of it. The cookies that I've been working on, these are things that high protein, low carb, grain free, but it's the energy and the storage. You know, I don't have the freezers yet to be able to store all of this stuff for people. What else could I do with that? You know, because a lot of the recipes are recipes that people can make with a $30 chaffle maker. They don't need me to process it, freeze it, store it. There's, you know, this is something that people could do every single day or a couple times a week without a vacuum sealer. And it goes back to the fact that I'm one person doing this. I don't know if I should be asking people for help or not. I really don't. I just know this is something that needs to get done. I'm doing my best to figure it out on my own. And it would be nice to have someone reach out for a change. It just, I get it. I don't market it, any of this. YouTube, Facebook, etc., they aren't going to support it or spread it if I don't pay to advertise it. But that's, you know, that and the autistic aspect that I was looking into too, of how important this is for kids. And we're seeing more and more and more and more every single day. I just don't know where to take it from here. I'll keep putting out the recipes, but I don't have the energy to do a bunch of videos or shorts, or I don't have the money to advertise it to get it out to other people. I feel bad about that every day, because I know there's a lot of people I could be helping with the recipes, but I just can't. With the MECFS, I just physically can't do that kind of stuff. I guess I just wanted to get this out there tonight, you know, because it is Severe MECFS Awareness Day. It is stuff the truck, back to school. I would love to be able to do a Lunchables, but I can't because I can't legally do anything with meat. But what I can do is put the recipes together with smaller chaffle makers, or figure out how to do it in the oven. That's what I'm working on so hard. Healthier cookies, crackers, little things. Peanut butter and jelly. No, not a healthy option. But if I could figure out at least a little healthier, a grain-free version of peanut butter and jelly, it's what I want to do. That's the whole aspect of this. If you guys can, please like, share, subscribe, reach out to me if you have any suggestions. Just getting the algorithm working, it would be huge, because every dime that comes in from ad sales or whatever else eventually goes back into helping other people. It's not, as much as I've tried up to this point, it's just something I can't do on my own, So we need that community to get going. And think about it, seriously, the school lunch program, okay, for kids with celiac disease. I don't know what they're getting fed right now, but I remember what it was like for me going through junior high and high school, grade school too. It was crap. It was horrible food. If we could figure out a way to make healthy food that kids took in a lunchbox that was safe for them to leave in their locker until lunch, we're only talking 4 hours. Cooler pack, we can do it. Whether that's frozen pizza or whatever, chicken nuggets, we can figure that out if you guys work with me. And then also the severe CFS Awareness Day. I would really appreciate if you all would go look it up. Go look up MECFS. It's on my website. It's pretty easy to find on the internet. And these are all things that we can fix, but I can't do it on my own. So thanks for sticking around. If you guys did, please like, share, subscribe, and comment. Helps the algorithm, helps me, eventually get this where we might start making some headway down the road. Until next time, signing out from Fremont, Nebraska, and grainfreeme.com. Catch you later.